The Timeshift Anomaly Zone was a graveyard of causality. Here, the laws of physics were mere suggestions, and time flowed like a tangled river. It was the perfect place to hide a prize. The Chronos, an experimental Imperial Coalition temporal manipulation vessel. Admiral Vash, the ship's original commander, had tracked it here after it was stolen by a rogue element. His mission was to recover it at all costs. His opposition was the ship's new pilot, a lone orbital guard from the free frontier who had stumbled upon the derelict and seen it as his ticket to a better life. The Chronos floated silently in a nebula of shimmering, fractured light. Admiral Vash's personal shuttle, the Resolution, was docked a kilometer away. From its bridge, Vash watched the stolen ship through a magnified viewport. "He's powering up the drive," Vash muttered, his strategic mind already calculating a dozen variables. He has no idea what he's doing. His support, a crack Imperial pilot, stood ready at the controls. "Admiral, their shields are fluctuating. We could disable them with a targeted shot." On the Chronos, the Orbital Guard, a young man named Finn was sweating. He had basic flight training, but the console in front of him was a symphony of incomprehensible symbols. His support, a grizzled frontier engineer who had helped him board the vessel, was frantically trying to bypass the security lockouts. "It's no use, Finn. The Coalition's got this thing wrapped in more layers than an onion. We can't get full control." The engineer slammed a fist on the console in frustration. "We should have just stripped the core and run." Vash made his decision. "No, we can't risk damaging the drive. I'll board her myself." He grabbed a zero-G combat harness and a plasma pistol. The pilot protested. "Sir, it's too dangerous. The temporal distortions are unpredictable." Vash's face was grim. "That ship is my responsibility. Prepare the airlock." As Vash cycled through the airlock, a sudden, violent temporal wave washed over the area. For a split second, Vash saw his own shuttle, the Resolution, explode in a flash of light. He shook his head, the vision gone. Just a glitch. He jetted across the void, a tiny figure against the cosmic chaos. He reached the Chronos and attached himself to the hull near an emergency maintenance hatch. As he worked to cut through the lock, another wave hit, this one stronger. Inside the Chronos, alarms blared. The engineer screamed as a conduit ruptured, showering him in sparks. On the bridge of the Resolution, the pilot stared in horror as his console flickered and died, all systems going offline. They were blind and deaf. Vash finally breached the hull and pulled himself inside. He was met by the Orbital Guard, who had abandoned the bridge and was waiting with a rifle. "Stay back," Finn yelled, his voice trembling. Vash slowly lowered his pistol. "Son, you don't know what you're in. That ship, it's not just a ship. It's a key, and you're trying to use it to open a door to hell." As he spoke, the ship lurched violently. A temporal echo shimmered into existence on the corridor. Another Admiral Vash, this one bleeding from a head wound, desperately trying to seal a breach. The Orbital Guard stared, his mind unable to process the impossibility. In that moment of sheer, dumbfounding luck, the ship's main drive, which the engineer had been accidentally feeding power into, engaged. The Chronos jumped, but it wasn't a clean jump. It tore a hole in space-time, a screaming vortex that instantly swallowed the Resolution, which had been drifting helplessly. Vash watched his shuttle and his loyal pilot vanish into the rift. He was stranded, but he was also on the Chronos. He turned to the horrified Orbital Guard. "You see," Vash said, his voice hollow with loss. "You stole my ship. Now you're going to help me fly it." He had succeeded in reclaiming his vessel, but at a cost he could never have imagined.